So welcome everybody to the latest Jodale webinar. Today, it's my absolute privilege to be working with Nualang. We've had Nualang on before as part of this series, and I genuinely think that Nualang is a fantastically exciting tool, particularly designed to help promote speaking skills. And in today's session on the 13th of October 2021, we're going to be hearing from Sandra Sánchez Sesar live in the session. So Sandra is with us live. We're going to be hearing from her a little bit later on. And we're also going to be playing some clips from two separate language teachers, one in Ireland as well, Maggie Lee, and another one from a world language educator, as one says, in the States, which is very exciting. So as you can see, the title of the webinar is Enhanced Language Conversation Practice with Your Students. And let's make a start. Okay, so just a few housekeeping points. I've already muted your microphone, so that's all good already. And I've also disabled the option for you to have your videos on. But what I would recommend is that you don't have anything running in the background, which is going to be using a lot of bandwidth, because that could affect your experience on Zoom. So that's really important. If your video or if your Zoom does freeze, then I'm sure you'll be able to sort it out very quickly. But if not, you can always log back in again if you would like to. We're going to have a Q&A section at the end of the session, but at the same time, if you'd like to put your questions in the chat throughout the session, that's absolutely fine. And when there's a natural pause, and if Sandra wants to ask if there are any questions, and I can put questions live to Sandra, but also it would be lovely to have some Q&A questions at the end. I'm sure you're going to have lots of questions about this fantastic tool. So we're going to have the chat running the whole time. You can use that to make comments or questions. We are recording the session right now, so that will be available on my YouTube channel as per normal, which is available at Jodale 100. So you'll be able to watch it back. You'll be able to share the link of the recording with other people. And also we will share the link via the Eventbrite. So we'll email out everyone that's registered for tonight's session. We'll send you the link to the recording. And if I've got time, I'll try and do it tonight. If not, I'll do it certainly by tomorrow morning as well. Okay, lovely. Let's carry on. So in the agenda today for this session, as you can see, this is all about teaching students. We're going to be hearing, as I said, from two separate language teachers, one from Ireland and one from the States, talking about common challenges when learning a language and how Nualang has helped with that, which is just fantastic. Then I'm going to pass over to Sandra, who's going to give us a really good look at Nualang and how it works based on her experience. And she's going to go through all the different features within Nualang. We'll then come back to my presentation for the last couple of slides with the next steps and then Q&A. So if we have lots of questions at the end, that would be lovely. And if you have any technical questions, that's absolutely fine as well, because we're very, very lucky to have Stephen Kelly, the developer of Nualang, the creator of Nualang, in the house, and he will be able to answer any technical questions that you may have. So let's go to the next slide. Okay. So here we have a little video clip from Magali Lalor from Castle Coma Community School. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Magali is also Maggie in the Wood on Twitter. So if you're not following Maggie, feel free to do so. She's a great person to follow. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play the little clip whereby Maggie will be talking about how she's using Nualang. So let's have a quick listen to this right now.
Bonsoir, Jodale et Nualang. This is my experience of using this application with my student in Castle Coma Community School. We love the voice recognition feature and the progression using the free bank of images, and of course the avatars for the students' profiles. As you can see, they completed a survey on their experience of using Nualang for their Living Cert practice and CBAs, and it is compiled in a blog on the website. I love using it to input my own courses. It gives the students great confidence. It's very good for differentiation and to work independently. You can input your own phrases to suit your student, and the settings follow the European Common Framework. It fits the Irish language curriculum perfectly, with the emphasis on spoken language now with the CBA presentations, of course the oral component of the Living Cert, and here we have the Living Cert applied full course in the 3 sections. I like the scaffolded progression also, going from the translation into language 1, listening and writing language 2, pronunciation, moving on to a role play, like a realistic examination format, and then to an open-ended chatbot. The student can pick their answer or record their answer with progress report all along. I'm happy to answer any questions, and you're very welcome to use existing courses. Take care, bye-bye.
Fantastic. So short and sweet, but absolutely lovely. So if you do have any further questions for Magali, get in touch with her on Twitter. I'm sure Magali's in the Zoom right now. If so, feel free, Magali, to let yourself be known and write any comments that you'd like in the chat. But you can get in touch with Magali about any questions that you may have. Now, Magali mentioned about the fact that she's using Nualang with Leaving Cert. Obviously, that's an Irish-based exam. You can equally use Nualang for exams in England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. You can for GCSEs. Likewise, you can use Nualang in Scotland for hires, and so on and so forth. Because of the fact you can design your own exercises, you can create your own courses, which is what Sandra is going to show us how to do in a moment. You can fit it to whatever level you would like and whatever exam spec that you use. But there's already some ready-made courses which teachers have produced, which are on the site already to get you started. So that's really fantastic. So big thanks to Magali for sharing her thoughts and her reflections there. In the next clip, we have Diana Collado, who is a Spanish teacher from Texas. And let's have a listen to what Diana has to say about her use of Nualang in the States.
Hello, everybody. My name is Diana Collado, and I've been a Spanish teacher for more than 18 years. What I like about Nualang is how fast and easy it is to create content for my students to practice their Spanish skills. All I have to do is type in some sentences, phrases, or vocabulary words, and Nualang will automatically create 3 types of exercises for my students to practice. I also like that my students have an opportunity to use their conversational skills independently until they build the confidence needed to be successful using a second language. I love Nualang, and I know that you will too.
Superb. So again, a big thanks to Diana for that. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to have a look at Nualang. So I'm going to stop sharing. Sandra's then going to share her screen, and she's going to show us how to set up a course and lots of different examples, which is fantastic. If you have any questions, this is the time, which would be really great for you to put your questions to Sandra, and then I can then put those to her when we have a natural break or at the end, depending on how it all goes. So I'm going to stop sharing right now. That's fantastic. If you want to now share your screen, Sandra, if that's okay. And
yes.
Go from there.
Hello, everybody. Here it is. So, well, my name is Sandra, as you know. Thank you, Joe. And I am a teacher of Spanish. I am from a beautiful place in the north coast of Spain called Asturias, but I've been living and working in Dublin, in Ireland, for 19 years. This is where you're wondering how come I still have this accent, and I don't have an answer for you. But once somebody told me, your accent is your treasure, don't lose it. And I think I just took it too literally. But anyway, I hope I can explain myself well so that I can get through to you the huge advantages of using Nualang for our language classes. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to create a course from scratch for your students. And even though in the title of the webinar, we talk about improving conversational skills, as Joe said earlier, Nualang is more than that. Because we are creating the content, we can do it for a specific group of students, for a specific level within the European framework of modern languages, for a specific part of the syllabus, or for a specific topic even. And that is the great advantage of Nualang. So I'm going to show you how to create a course from scratch. So when you sign in onto Nualang as a teacher, this is the home screen. And what you would see is the courses you had a look at in Continue Learning. I had a look at some Italian courses and I actually loved it. And then Continue Teaching. These are the courses that I have created or that I have collaborated in. Okay, and then to create a course, we just have to go to create here in the top right-hand side part. And it's going to give us the option of creating a role play, a bot, or a course. So I'm going to show you how to create a course because we can include the role play then in the course. We start with the information about the course. We have to give it a name, for example, webinar, okay, and a little description. This is a test one, so I just go with test. And this is where you pick the language that you are teaching. In my case, it's Spanish. So I'm going to pick Spanish. I know a lot of you are French, teachers of French and German and so on, but this is where you pick the language you're teaching. And for speakers of, in my case, English. Okay. And then we have tags. So we can enter a tag to make it easier for other teachers to find material in Nualang, things to work with in the future. So I don't know, for example, I could say Spanish 1 or junior certificate in Ireland. See, just tags so that people can find it easily. And then we go next. Now, here's where we have the visibility. So if we put it on public, we are helping other teachers that may come into Nualang looking for material, for things to work with for their students. If we leave it on private, it's only ours, and we need an enrollment key that we will have to give our students because it's a private course. So I don't know, for example, showing Nualang. That's my enrollment key. The next part is the reviews. I'm going to leave it enabled. This is for when the course is public, people that become members of your course that have a look at your course, students and other teachers can leave reviews, which is good. And a really, really good part is the collaborators. So for example, if I want to work with my colleagues from my school in a course on Nualang for our students, I would add their email addresses here, and they would have the same access as myself to the course. So they'd be able to create, edit, and everything as myself. And then in this case, well, it's a test. So we move on to the next screen, which is the appearance of the course. Now here you can pick a picture for the course cover. You can upload it if you have a picture, or you can use Nualang's image library, which is really easy to use. So you type in whatever you want, for example, grammar. And then you get all these pictures. You can have a little look at it. And I like this one. So I pick, I crop the picture, and that's it. And then next. This is our course setup. We click finish, and this is it. So it's very intuitive and it's very straightforward, very easy to create. Now I will show you sorry, it takes, sometimes I suppose you all know when you share your screen on Zoom, everything takes a little bit longer than normal, but here it is. So this is what your course would look like. The picture, the person that created it, and then this is it, but we don't have anything yet. So the first step is to create the section. So each section in the course is gonna then be divided into topics. And then each topic has the exercises inside. So section, you can call module 1, module 2, module 3, or week 1, week 2, week 3. Let's call this one week 1, just an example, as an example. And we create it. So now we have the course outline is week 1. If we want to, we can add the next section, week 2, or when we get there. And then we have to build up those sections. So to add the topics into week 1, we just press add new. And this is how we start. So for example, we choose the difficulty. We have here the levels of the European Framework of Modern Languages, and I'm gonna pick A1, beginner, and I'm gonna create from scratch myself. We have this template, I select it, and then all I have to do is give it the title. So for example, this week, we are working on the superlative. I can put it, well, in English, in Spanish, yeah, superlative. Then we give it a little description here, like, for example, the best. The best, the difficulty that I had picked is A1. And again, we can add tags. So I'm gonna add Tivo in Spanish, so that if there's teachers of Spanish looking for it, they can find it easier. And then we give it a little picture again. So superlative, I don't know, I could say Everest, superlative. And I pick a picture, crop it, and this is nearly set up. Now we have to choose whether we put it on public or we keep it private, because not only can you put on public or private the whole course, you can also do it by each topic individually. So in this case, I'm keeping it private because it's a test. Then we have the option of randomizing the order the questions are asked, which I'm gonna leave it as enabled. And then we select the voice that will be used in the exercises, who's gonna read out the exercises. So in Spanish, we have different accents, like Penelope, Lupe, and Miguel would have more of a South American accent. Then we have a Spanish from Spain accent, Lucia, Conchita, and Enrique. And then we have Mia as the Mexican accent. So I'm gonna pick Lucia. She's gonna be the one reading. Lucia. And you could hear her there, Lucia, reading the sentences. So this is it, we click finish, and this is the first topic created. So now we have to build it up, and I'll show you how now. Okay, so we are in the topic of the superlative, and these are the exercises that Nualang has, that Nualang offers. We have translation, listening, pronunciation, then the role plays, and then the chatbots. But as you can see, translation, listening, and pronunciation right now are not enabled. And that's because we need to add the phrases, as you can read here, add phrases to enable exercise. So the first step is always the phrases. So we go on to phrases, and then we have the option of uploading them from an Excel page or a Google page that you may have, or to add them manually. And I'm gonna add them so that you see how easy it is. So in my case, it's Spanish. So I apologize. I know you're not all teachers of Spanish, but you're gonna see the English translation as well. So you'll be able to keep up. In this part is where I always like to introduce a little bit of the cultural component. As a language teacher, I also like to teach about the culture of the language the students are learning. So maybe in this case, because we are doing the superlative, what I could do is make the sentences about the superlative in the Spanish-speaking world. So for example, if I go something like Aconcagua es la montaña más alta de América. Está en Argentina. Okay, so I have the Spanish phrase, and then I go on to the English translation. Aconcagua is the highest mountain in America, and it is in Argentina. We enter, and that's the translation. Now, we can have loads of different translations. So, for example, if I don't want to say highest, I want to say tallest, or if I want to say it's contracted instead of it is in Argentina, then I can add that option here as well. For example, Aconcagua is the highest mountain in America, and it's in Argentina. Just so that the students have different options. Okay, and then we add an image for this sentence. So I go with Aconcagua, and I'll find pictures of this mountain. Okay, I'm gonna pick this one. Crop and add phrase. It's adding the phrase, I'm sorry. It's a little bit slower than normal. So the phrase is added now. I can see it there. So here it is. So we have one phrase. I'm gonna add two more so that then I can show you how the exercises work. So if I add another one, like, for example, Atacama es el lugar seco del mundo y está en Chile. Okay, so now is Atacama is the driest place in the world, and it is in Chile. I enter that, and then I look for a picture. So if I look for Atacama, doesn't look as dry as I said, so I'm gonna pick a dry picture. There it is. That's a nice one. So I keep this one, I crop it, and I add. It's as easy for me, it's as easy to type them in myself as to upload them from a document. It's because it's fast to do it. And the last one we'll do today would be Madrid es la ciudad más poblada. Okay, so Madrid is the most populated city in Spain. I enter and I look for a picture of Madrid. Okay, I like that one. So I pick that picture, I crop it, and I add the phrase.
While it's doing that, Sandra, we just had a question from Aideen. Can you upload a Word document? Well, you were saying about with the phrases, you could upload an Excel spreadsheet or a Google Sheet. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So not
Yes.
it wouldn't
Not
be a Word
Word.
document. It would be an Excel spreadsheet or a Google Sheet. Okay.
Stephen could correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it'll take up a Word document. No.
And then Maeve is saying, must each phrase be added individually? So you can either add them individually, that's right, or you can upload a file.
Your document.
Then,
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So if you choose the uploading your document, if you have like 20 phrases in a document with their translation, it just does it automatically like that, the 20 phrases.
Okay. Is it okay to ask a few more questions? So we've got the question.
Yes, yes, of course.
Fantastic. Magali is asking, would it work from a Quizlet or Blooket set? In other words, like an online tool like Quizlet or Blooket, presumably you'd have to just take the content and then put it into an Excel spreadsheet instead. Is that right?
Instead, or a Google one.
Yeah. That's great. Cool. Fantastic. Loving this. It's great. I love how easy it is. It's just wonderful.
It is easy. I just find it very easy to add them by myself as well. I've done both, but it is easy. It's very straightforward. Okay, so now that we have phrases, obviously you can add as many as you want, 10, 15, 20. But now that we have phrases, if we go back to the exercises, now you can see they are enabled now. So our students can do them now. So for example, I'm going to show you how they work. The translation exercise. So,
Madrid es la ciudad más poblada de España.
There's Lucia, the voice that I picked at the beginning. Okay, so the students can listen to it by clicking here. Again.
Madrid es la ciudad más poblada de España.
Now, if that is too fast, we have this option up here to change the speed. So we can go super speed, very fast talker, normal speed, that's the one I had there, slow it down a bit or one word at a time. So if I slow it down a little bit.
Madrid es la ciudad más poblada de España.
So it's a little bit slower. So we have all those options there as well, which I think is fantastic. And then the students have to translate it into English. So Madrid is the most populated city in Spain. And that is correct. Then we go on to the next one.
Aconcagua es la montaña más alta de América y está en Argentina.
Okay. And instead of typing it in, as I just did, they can also use the word bank. So the word bank is going to give them all of this, and they just have to click on the words they need. So for example, Aconcagua is the highest mountain in America, and it is in Argentina. So they have both options. Now the word bank, you can enable it or disable it.
Atacama es el lugar más seco del mundo y está en Chile.
It's Lucia again. So I'm going to stop this now that I showed you, and I go back to the topic so that I can show you the listening exercise.
Aconcagua es la montaña más alta de América y está en Argentina.
That was very fast. So in the listening part, they don't see the sentence. They just need to listen to it as many times as they want to, and then put in the Spanish phrase. So the target language, German, English, French, the target language this time. So this time they may need to slow it down a little bit. Listen to it.
Aconcagua es la montaña más alta de América y está en Argentina.
So, Aconcagua es la montaña de América y está en Argentina. And that's it. Or again, if they want to.
Atacama es el lugar más seco del mundo y está en Chile.
Vale. If they want to, they can use again the word bank, the same thing as I showed you earlier. So Atacama, but this time in Spanish, in the target language. Okay, so if we go back to the topic, I can show you the pronunciation exercise. This is my favorite, I have to say.
Atacama es el lugar más seco del mundo y está en Chile.
So, okay, here we have the sentence in the target language. They can listen to it again as many times as they want to. They can slow it down if they need to. And then they have to press the microphone and say the sentence. So if I go now, Atacama es el lugar más seco del mundo y está en Chile. 91% confidence, not bad, not bad, not bad. And they can listen back to themselves as well. So if they press play here to see what they sound like in the target language, Atacama es el lugar más seco del mundo y está en Chile. So this is a great option as well, that they can listen.
Madrid es la ciudad más poblada de España.
They can listen back and they can see themselves maybe where they could make a little bit more of an effort in the pronunciation. Let's see if this time I do it a little bit better. Madrid es la ciudad más poblada de España. Yes. Much, much better this time. So I've improved already. Maybe I should be doing
Aconcagua
that
es la
in
montaña más alta de América y está en Argentina.
now. So if I go back to the topic now. So we've built up the phrases. So these translation, listening, and pronunciation exercises are enabled. And then we can move on to the role plays. Okay. So if I click add new, we can create a role play. Now the difficulty. So I'm still in A1, so I'm gonna pick the same. Oh yeah, I think it's frozen. No. Okay. So A1, and then I'm gonna use this template, create from scratch, create from zero. So we give the role play and a name like Superlativo Hispano, for example, Hispanic superlative, and then a little description. Because I'm going to choose to do the role play as a multiple choice exercise, I'm gonna just tell them to choose the correct answer to continue the conversation. Okay, then we give it a picture again, so we can pick Aconcagua again. Let's pick Aconcagua again. This picture. Okay, the difficulty we picked earlier, the tags, superlative, Spanish superlative, maybe. Okay, and the novelty about the role plays is that we need to pick the actors that are gonna do the role play. So we have the nulas. We choose a nula. Well, you can also choose from a file. Maybe Stephen can correct me if I'm wrong. This is the avatar that you can make for your profile as well. You can choose an avatar like that, or you can choose one of the nulas. So I'm gonna pick this one here, and I'm gonna give her a name. I'm gonna call her Silvia. And then I have to pick a voice as well for Silvia. So Silvia will have Penelope.
Penelope.
And then the actor too, I can pick this one here. And I can call her Maria. And I can give her Conchita's
Conchita.
voice. and we go next. Again, I'm gonna keep it private. So here we have another option that says allow students to translate messages into their native language. Because it's an A1, I'm gonna enable it because I want to show you as well what this means when I create the role play. And as I said to you earlier, I'm gonna do it multiple choice. So I'm gonna allow the students to pick the correct reply from a list of options. You're gonna see all this once I create the role play and I play it. I'm gonna show you all this so that it's clear. Then we finish, and that's when we start creating. Here's where I'm gonna apologize again because everything is gonna be in Spanish, but I'm gonna try and translate as I go along, okay, for everybody.
And before we see the final outcome, Stephen just put in the chat, yes, you can upload a picture from your computer to use as the actor avatar. So that's great news.
Good, good. So I normally work with the Nulas. I like them. So at this stage, I care for them. So I use them, you know. So now, so we click on Sylvia. Sylvia is going to start the conversation. So we click on Sylvia, and then down here, to start the conversation. We're in the superlative. So I can continue with the same thing that I did in the sentences. Maybe I can add in another superlative from the Spanish-speaking world, the French-speaking world, German, English, and so on, right? So for example, if I go, hola Maria, hello Maria. Do you know that the highest mountain in America is in Argentina, for example? America in Argentina. I enter, and that's Sylvia. Now, Maria is going to answer, for example, yes. It's called Aconcagua, for example. Se llama Aconcagua, isn't it? No? Okay. And then Sylvia can say, that's it. Yes. And then something else like, ¿sabes? Do you know which is the biggest country in the Spanish-speaking world, for example? ¿Sabes cuál es el país más grande del mundo hispano? And then Maria maybe can say something like Mexico. Mexico. And Sylvia could say something like, no, it's actually Argentina. Argentina. For example, right? This can go on and on and on, obviously, as much as you like. But I want to show you something else that we have on the role plays. If you see, we have Sylvia and Maria, and then we have this question. Okay, so we can add comprehension questions in the role play. You can add them in the middle at any time as you create it, as you move on, or you can add them at the end. That's obviously up to you. But for example, questions like this. For example, where is Aconcagua? Where is Aconcagua? Something that has been in the conversation. So we go in Chile, and then we click the plus, and then we go in Argentina, and we click the plus, and Argentina is the correct answer. So I add the question there. And then you can add as many questions again as you want to. The same with the conversation, as much as you want to. Okay, but I want to show you now what it looks like. So now it's created, and if I go up here, I can play it for you to see. So I'm gonna play it. Start.
Hola María, ¿sabes que la montaña más alta de América está en Argentina?
Okay, so because I did it multiple answers, multiple options, here's where I can show the options. Okay, México, o sí, se llama Concagua. Obviously, this role play is very short, so we can only see 2 options, but when you make the role play longer, it's gonna give them 4 different options. So it's a little bit more difficult than this one, okay? So, sí, se llama Concagua.
Sí se llama Aconcagua, ¿no?
Eso es, ¿sabes cuál es el país más grande del mundo hispano?
Okay. Remember when we were starting the role play, I enabled the option for the students to be able to translate messages into their language. So this we can see it here. If you see the little arrows underneath and they click there, it's going to translate it into English. Hello, Maria, do you know that the highest mountain in America is in Argentina? And then go back to Spanish. And then here as well, and here. So that's because I enabled that option at the beginning, okay? And now I want to show you something else. So I show the options that Maria is going to answer. ¿Se llama Aconcagua? No, that's not correct. Mexico, okay. But instead of clicking in Mexico, what they can do is record themselves saying it, okay? Mexico?
¿México?
No, es Argentina.
And here we get the comprehension question that I added. ¿Dónde está Aconcagua? Okay, en Argentina. And this is it. So obviously when the role plays are longer, you can add more comprehension questions in the middle. They can practice more with the microphone instead of just clicking in the correct option and so on. But I want to show you. Well, Joe, does anybody have any questions about this? Or
We haven't got any questions. I just wrote I love it, and I've literally been tweeting about the role play tool, which is my favorite. I know that you said the pronunciation feature is your favorite, but I love the role plays, the way that you can create the role plays and the students can record their own answers, and the fact you can put in comprehension questions is just absolutely brilliant. I love it.
There's a lot in the role play. I love it as well. But because as well, I think when in some years the students have to go on to oral exams, is a great tool to do an examiner student kind of conversation to give them the confidence before getting to the exam.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more, and I think that's why Nualang, this particular feature is brilliant in the way that it can allow the students to work at their own pace as many times as they need to practice and practice and practice. The teacher can put in the different topics and the different questions, etc., and then the students can be as independent as they want to. They can practice at school, they can practice at home in order to improve their confidence so that when they come to the exam, they know the topics back to front. It's brilliant.
Yes, it's brilliant. And I think now that you mentioned it for the students, I think maybe I should show you guys as well how you can see the activity of your students. So if your students have been working on this topic, on the superlative, we can view the activity here. So let's see who was working. Somebody called Sandra Sánchez was working, and you can see what exercises she completed. Only one, only the role play, but she has 3 in progress: the pronunciation, the listening, and the translation. So while they are in progress, we're not able to see anything that the student has done in these 3 exercises. But once they are completed, that's when we can go and have a look by pressing this little arrow here. So if we go, it tells you the name of the students, the time spent, 2 minutes. That was fast, very good. All the answers were correct. and the answer method as well. So this student used the voice and used the option, the picking the multiple options as well, and the attempts. So we can see it here. The script, she picked the option, and for this one, she used her voice, the recording feature of the role play. So this is where you can see the activity that each student is doing.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. We've had a question from Caroline, which is, can you show us how to share the activities with the students? Magali was saying that you can use a code, but could you show us how that works?
Yes, I'm going to show you. There's different options for sharing with the students. So I'm going to show them all to you, okay? So if I go back to the course, I could have done it from where I was, but just so that you see the course outline there, we have this, okay? So how you share it with the students is by share. Well, you can invite them. If you click invite, you have to input their email addresses here. So I think the easiest way of doing it is to share it. If we click share, you can share it well in Facebook, Twitter, if you have private groups with your students, Google Classroom, if that is the platform you're using, or copy it to the clipboard and then send it to them. That is another option. Another one is that you see here, course code, blah, blah, blah. So you can give the students this code, and when they go onto Nualang, if I go onto the home page, the starting page, so when they go there, I'll show you. Nualang asks you for a course code, so they can input that. Oh, page unresponsive. No, please.
If we need to pause the recording, we could do that, and then you could refresh the page. We'll see how we get on.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
It's back. So now I'm in the home page.
So can I just clarify? Sorry. So if a school is using Microsoft Teams, you would go for the copy to clipboard option, and then you would then share the link in Microsoft Teams. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Excellent.
That's what I've been doing. That's the courses for my students. I just copy to clipboard and share it with them by email. I actually email them.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Thank you.
But the other option is to enter the course code here. So the code we had in our course, you give the students that code in class, and all they have to do is enter the course code and go into it. Okay, so it's very easy to share. But before I finish, I really would like to show you another feature that Nualang has, and I think it's really, really good. If you see the menu here on the left-hand side, we see classrooms. So if I go onto a classroom, I don't have any here, teach, okay? Teach classroom, I can create a classroom. So by creating a classroom, say for example, I have a first year group A, for example, and the description is test, learn Spanish, speakers of English, and then tags Spanish 1, for example. And then next, I keep it private, and I give them an enrollment key for my students, blah, blah. The chat is enabled, the reviews are enabled, and I don't have any collaborators for this course. So I go on to next. I can give them a little picture, like group work, and see what comes up. Okay, so I like this one. I choose the picture, I crop. Next, and this is a classroom. So in a classroom, I can add the course that I created, but I can also add any other course that I create, any other course that is already created on Nualang I like it, and I want my students to use it. So I can add it all in the classroom. And the benefits of the classroom is that I don't need to send them a link for each course that I want them to practice, because they will have access to everything that is going to be in this classroom with only the link for the classroom. So for example, it's very easy as well, add courses, and then my courses. Okay, this is the one I just created here. So I click and I add it. That's it. So that is in the classroom already. But as I said, if I'm looking around Nualang and I see a course that I like, that I think my students should do, so I go onto the plus down here on the right-hand side, add course. It's very easy. And I go, I don't know, well, you can find course, you can type in the tag, that's where the tags are gonna come in handy. But for example, learn Spanish speakers of English. And we have this one here, first year Spanish. Okay, I'll add this one. I click and I add. And my students will have access to these two courses without me having to send them another link. So they have the link for the classroom, and then I can add in as many courses as I want to. The only thing is that if I'm adding a course that I did not create, like this one, I cannot edit it. Okay, that is the only thing. Because I actually forgot to show you, God, I'm sorry about this. If I go back to our course, just let me show you something really quickly. What is it? Now I can't find it. I'll teach. Sorry. Now here it is, manage course. What I didn't show you is that we can actually add topics that are already on Nualang. So for example, if I click add new, instead of me creating it, and I pick the difficulty, A1 beginner, and say, I want my students to practice a little bit the family vocabulary. So I go familia, and there's two courses here, one by me and one by Diana Collado. So I pick Diana's. I selected next. If we are leaving it private and so on, I pick Lucia again.
Lucia.
And next. And that's it, finish. And that is added onto my course. And this time, because I only added a topic and not a full course, I can actually edit it. So this is Diana's topic about the family. If I go onto phrases and I have a look, see what she has, it's just vocabulary, that's fine. But for example, look, she has the in-laws here. Okay, I don't want the in-laws. So your mother-in-law, okay, I can remove it. The lead phrase, yes. So I can actually edit anything I brought from Diana's course onto my course. So now if we look at the course we created tonight, we already have 2 topics in week 1. And that'll be automatically in the classroom that I created. So there's nothing else to do. I don't need to send more links. I don't need to email the students again and so on. So I think Classroom for me is a fantastic feature. And this is it. And I don't know if there's more questions, if you want to, I don't think I have anything else.
Well, I'd just like to say you've done an amazing job, Sandra. Absolutely professional, flowing. It's been superb. And I don't know about everyone else, but I've certainly got very excited about seeing how Nualang has progressed since the last webinar that we did. And it's been wonderful.
It really is amazing. I've been working with Nualang for a good few months already, and it is amazing. the options of the tags, the adding the tags and the slowing down the pace of the voice is actually so new that is from yesterday, literally from yesterday. So it keeps improving and improving and improving, you know.
Fantastic. We've had a request from Magali, which is, could you demonstrate how the chatbot works, please, in Nualang?
Yes, I can, of course.
Fantastic.
So if I go back onto Nualang, okay, so I'm here in my course. Let's go back to the superlative. And I can show you the chatbot. Now the chatbot is great because if we want to do it staggered, we start with the phrases. They can do translation, listening, pronunciation. Then they can do a role play, multiple choice, picking the answers. And then they can go onto the chatbot and use their own words. Now, chatbots are a little bit, is this frozen? I think it's frozen. Oh, now, okay. So I skip because I know. So, well, we give it a title. Let's leave crea desde cero and so on. We give it a picture, the same as the role play, difficulty, and the tags. For example, again, superlativo español, for example. And then we choose a nula as well. So I'm gonna pick this one again, and I'm gonna call her Cristina, for example. And I'll give her Lupe's voice.
Lupe.
And then here we can add an introduction from the bot, for example. But if we want the students to start the conversation, we just leave it as it is. Or we can go like something like di hola. Para say hello to start, for example, if you want to have that message. And then we go on to next. I'm going to keep it private. I am going to allow the students to translate the messages into their native language. That's fine. I go next and I finish. And this is what it's going to look like. I skip this. So these are instructions that people can follow, right, to be able to change this. But I don't want to create from zero. This is the one. I chose the wrong one, actually, so I'm so sorry.
Don't worry. But please do show us, because I think, again, the chatbot is another awesome feature.
It is. It is. Creating from zero is very difficult. But we have loads of templates. So we have an exam template. We have a quiz emoji, so you can add emojis and they can, I don't know, guess the title of the movie in Spanish or in English, in French, in German, and so on. We have an image template, so you add a picture and they have to answer questions about the picture, for example. And this is the one I should have picked, abierto, the open one. This is the one I should have picked to show you guys. So again, I choose the nula, Cristina, and the voice, Lupe.
Lupe.
Okay, and then we can leave this empty if we want the student to start talking. So I'm gonna leave it like that just so that I can show you. I enable this, it's private, and then we finish. And this is what's gonna look like. And we go on to variables. Okay, and in this one, the open-ended one is the one I like as well, so that the students can use their own words when responding to question. So we have seven questions to add. It's as easy as putting in the question there. Which is the highest mountain in America? Takes a little bit, there it is. And then again, in text 2, you add another question, you add another question. If you want to, I can show you what it looks like when it's finished and on a finished one that I have already. That okay?
That'll
Yeah.
be great. I think people are getting an idea of how it works, but it'd be great to see a final example.
Yeah. So if I look for one of my courses, let's see if I can find one straight away. So this is a big one. So I suppose I'll have something here. Hold on. I'm going to create you a great one that was actually really successful, which is the Living Certificate in Ireland, the oral course. So in here, I did have it all set up like this. So the course outline, module 1, a couple of topics for the students to practice, and then the role play 1. So if I go on to that, the role play 1, I have the role play as a multiple choice, and then the chatbot. There it is. So we can see what the chatbot looks like. So the instruction is like answer to the questions of your examiner with using your own words. So say start when you are ready to start. This is something that you are gonna type in when you are creating the chatbot. So the instructions are whatever you prefer to say.
Hola, dígame.
Okay, so I said hola, and then this is about ringing a hotel, about some booking or something. Hola, dígame. So then I go, I'm called Sandra and I need blah, blah, blah.
¿En qué parte de la ciudad querrías vivir?
So the bot is gonna say the questions that I actually put in there, which are the real questions for the role play part of the oral exam in Ireland. And this is what it would look like. This is the open-ended one. So that's why I can type in anything I want and the bot continues the conversation.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think that's a game changer, that one. I absolutely love it. It's brilliant.
It is. It's a little bit scarier when you see it, I think, to create a chatbot. But it's because of the templates and all the templates that we have there, it's just straightforward. Just put in the questions that you want to add and or the pictures if you choose the picture template, and it's great. It really is.
Yeah, I think that's so powerful for practicing. Just wonderful. We've had another question in the chat, which is it possible for teachers to share their work with their fellow teachers directly on Nualang, or do we need to send them a link just like you do for students? Could you clarify?
No, well, you can add your colleagues as collaborators. When you're creating the course, if you add their email addresses, they can see and they can edit and they can work on the same course as you. So that is a great feature as well. I like that for teamwork. I think Magali was saying here, which is true, and I didn't say, you can also see the activity in the chatbot, so you can actually see your students' answers and correct them when you need to.
Fantastic. That's amazing. I think that's lovely. Was there anything else you wanted to share? I'm just thinking if we have any other questions in the Q&A.
Yeah, let's have a look and see if there's more questions.
This is your opportunity, everyone, to ask Sandra some questions. This is it's been wonderful. Let's have a look. So I can see. Greg Corley, who's in the room as well, is saying thank you, Sandra, Joe, Magali, and Dana, and a special thanks to you, the teachers, for spending your Wednesday evening and your interest in Nualang. I couldn't agree more, Greg. Fantastic, lovely. Are there any other questions for Sandra? I think this is a very exciting tool. Fantastic. Really, okay, I think what we'll do then, if it's okay, is I will share my screen again, and I will just go through the last. Here we are, the last couple of slides in the presentation, if that's okay with everyone. So we've had a lovely look at Nualang, which is wonderful. And we're now going to go on to the next slide, which is the next step. So if you would like to know more about Nualang, you can request a demo. Just go to www.nualang.com/demo. The website is simply nualang.com, so you can check that out. And if you would like an incredible 20% off a Nualang Pro account, then please use the code webinar1310, which of course is today's date. So that works perfectly. Wonderful. Excellent stuff. Sandra, are you on Twitter? We've been asked as well in the chat.
No, I'm not on Twitter. Sorry. I'm not on Twitter, no.
Too busy, I'm sure. Okay, fair enough. That's great. And unless there are any other questions in the chat, here are the contact details for Nualang as well. Are there any final questions for Sandra, or anything you want to, a technical question you want to put to Stephen? Anything at all? This is your opportunity. Okay, I think from that point of view, then, as we don't seem to have any more questions, we'll wrap it up here. Thank you so much, Sandra, for doing such a brilliant job tonight. Absolutely brilliant the way that you've gone through step by step on how you set up your courses. I think people have got a really, really good understanding of how Nualang works and all the new features as well, which is wonderful. And the people watching the recording will be able to watch it back. They can press the pause button. They can watch it back as many times as they need to. That's lovely. I'd like to thank Nualang as well for supporting me with this webinar and to and all the things that happen in the background that people don't get to see. All the organization. It's been absolutely fantastic. Last question. Let's do the last question. So Simona is saying, how often do you use it with your students? Great question. Yeah. How often do you use Nualang with your students, Sandra?
I use it all the time. I use it all the time because I create a course and I put it in, I send it to them, and then I keep adding and adding and adding depending on what we're doing that week in class. So I can use it all the time. Yeah.
Fantastic. So are you using it in class as well as, do you set it for homework as well?
In class, I just have a look at stuff that when I see the activity, if I see that there is a very common mistake in one of the sentences, for example, or in the role play, then I have a look at that in class with them. Otherwise, it's all their work, their homework, part of their homework.
Fantastic. Lovely. Excellent. So if you want to find out more about Nualang on Twitter, as Greg has pointed out, it's Nualang app on Twitter. Also, we've got Maggie in the Woods that I mentioned earlier. Thank you so much for your video testimonial. And let's see if there's any other questions. How big is the difference in your students' attainments once you started using Nualang? Great question. So what effect have you seen on the students' attainment as a result, do you think, of using Nualang?
Well, apart from the fact that they actually like it and enjoy it a lot.
Brilliant.
So that is something good, that they enjoy doing it. I think the biggest difference is their confidence. Their confidence. I think I do see them more confident when speaking Spanish in class since we started using Nualang.
Yeah, that's lovely. And that's a perfect way to finish, I think. That's a fantastic message to finish with. Thank you so much, Sandra, from the bottom of my heart. It's been lovely.
Thank you,
it's
Joe.
been really, really lovely webinar. A lovely hour and a bit to spend for us all together looking at this wonderful, wonderful tool. Okay, lovely. I'm gonna hit stop recording right now, which is here. There we are. And thanks very much, everyone. It's been lovely.